Thank you, Rabbi Chazdan, wherever you are in this great planet. And they're doing a pandemic now in South Africa. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. We join here tonight, just a few days after Gimel Tammuz, the Yortzeit Hilul of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and paying tribute to 70 years of his global leadership and vision. And what you could take to the bank is, it's a vision that changed the world forever. Also joining us tonight is my dear friend, who I consider, as many hundreds of thousands do, the king of Jewish music. Give a warm, rousing round of applause for Avram Fried. Upon assuming the leadership of Chabad, the Rebbe embarked on a mission that was enormous and mind-boggling, yet straightforward, systematic, and methodical, to restore the dignity, hope, and identity of a shattered nation that was perilously teetering on apathy and disillusionment. Echoing the sentiment of our patriarch Abraham, the Rebbe set out to awaken each Jew's Pinta Yid, the very core essence of our being, by brightening the globe with godliness and the eternal truth of Torah and Judaism. Allow me now to share with you a short story that so vividly illustrates this total dedication. In a moment of great distress, a woman from Paris had desperately sought the Rebbe's help for her daughter. For her daughter was deeply involved in a very toxic relationship, which was not healthy and not heading to a good place, to say the least. Despite tremendous efforts to get through to her daughter, the mother was simply at a dead end. She turned to the Rebbe, throwing her hands in the air in a moment of despair. And what I am about to tell you and share with you came to light recently, probably for security reasons, but I'll let you figure it out. And it is remarkable. And it is a life lesson for all of us. At that time, Israel's prime minister was Menachem Begin. He would often visit the Rebbe in New York. During one particular visit, the Rebbe made a special request of the prime minister. No, it was not related to anything political or even to global Chabad. What was this request? Mr. Prime Minister, the Rebbe said, on your journey back to the Holy Land, would you mind doing me a personal favor and make a little detour via France and seek out this young lady who's about to throw her life away by continuing a very bad relationship? Ladies and gentlemen, this is not bizarre. Now let's understand what happened here. The Rebbe is asking the Prime Minister of Israel to travel to another country to meet a young lady in France who neither of them knew. They had no connection to her whatsoever. In other words, other than the distress call of this Yiddish mama, they knew nothing. So Menachem Begin, who was such a great man, he had great respect and love for the Rebbe and agreed to seek out the young woman, as the Rebbe convinced him that only something, quote unquote, out of the box would be able to hopefully set this girl on a straight path. And as a side note, the Rebbe also told the Prime Minister that she was infatuated and an avid follower of Israeli politics. So what happened? This is exactly what happened. Menachem Begin met the young woman, got through to her, and the rest is history. She now lives in Jerusalem, leading a Jewish life with beautiful family, children, and grandchildren. Mamish amazing. Mamash. What's even more amazing is the length that the Rebbe went in order to save one random Jewish girl. Because he cared. Because he viewed every single one of us, not just his group or another group close to him. He viewed every single person. No matter your affiliation, or if you had no affiliation. The Rebbe looked at you as his own, his very own child, uncovering the Pintel Yid in each of us, one step at a time. This was and this is the Rebbe's goal and his vision in dispatching shluchim, emissaries, to every corner of the world. And this is powerful stuff. And this is what we celebrate tonight. So just to go for 2 minutes through a little bit of the history and the kaleidoscope of the monumental organization, Chabad of the Valley. In 1972, the Rebbe's vision continued to rapidly take shape to much greater exponential levels than ever thought of before. And at a Hasidic gathering marking the Rebbe's 70th birthday, he requested 71 new Chabad institutions to be created and established by the end of that year. You know what it was to make 71 institutions in those years? It was unheard of. But it happened. And let's see us right now. Indeed, the very next year produced a level of global Jewish growth and expansion, the likes of which has never been seen before. As the year came to an end, just one day before the Rebbe's 71st birthday, my esteemed colleague, Rabbi Gordon, who, if you want to take an honest moment and look in your hearts, he's here right now. Because a person in heaven always attends his family simcha. This is Rabbi Gordon's banquet. Make no questions about it. He was and is the man who had the Mesiras Nefesh to bring about so much good, and the good and the godly to this very plagued planet. Together with his beloved wife, may she be well, Rebbetzin Deborah Gordon, let's give her a rousing round of applause. And you can stand up for the Rebbetzin. She deserves it. Everybody stand up a minute. So back in 1971, they received the official letter from the Rebbe appointing them emissaries to a place called Encino, California, to open one of the very last of these sacred 71 Chabad institutions, known today as Chabad of the Valley. And on that very fortuitous day, the Gordons also celebrated the birth of their firstborn child, Yossi Gordon. Today, Rabbi Yossi Gordon of Chabad of Woodland Hills fame. And it gives me great pleasure, great honor, and great joy to wish the entire Gordon family a big mazel tov, as just last night they celebrated the marriage of Yossi and Daniela Gordon's oldest son, Menachem Mendel, with Rena Pinson of LA. Mazel tov. A few years later, after Rabbi and Rebbetzin Gordon established themselves on the West Coast, Chavi and I were given the green light, and the blessings of the Rebbe to join them in the valley. And the Rebbe blessed us with many blessings. Time does not permit. But the words, Hatzlacha Rabba Mufloga, that we should experience wondrous and abundant success. And indeed, Baruch Hashem, we have experienced abundant success and wondrous things in our life and the lives of yourselves. Let us all say Baruch Hashem. You know why? Because in this mixed up, nasty world, we don't appreciate enough the goodness that envelops us. One more time. Baruch Hashem. Success in our activities and programs throughout the valley, especially in the city the Rebbe sent us to, Tarzana, California, the jungles of Tarzana. Heeding the Rebbe's call, Chabad of the Valley continued to expand, starting and opening up another center and another center and another center. North Hollywood, Sherman Oaks, the Conejo Valley, Ventura, Northridge, Valencia, Calabasas, and many, many more. In fact, standing here tonight, we can all proudly celebrate the enormous growth of Yiddishkeit in the valley, with 30 Chabad centers and counting, spanning an area of 100 miles. My dear friends, we have witnessed a miraculous transformation before our very eyes, as what was once a spiritual desert has grown into a bastion of Jewish pride and practice and identity. Spreading the light of Judaism is so important, especially now. The aggression, the arrogance of a world gone crazy, the anti-Semitism at home, and the attacks on Jewish lives, innocent lives, men, women, and children from Gaza. And let's give a rousing round of applause. So I call them the Tzva Hagana, the Tzadikei Hagana Yisrael, the IDF. So when you have a terrible spate of anti-Semitism spreading throughout the world, this is why it's so important for every one of us here tonight to continue to be involved in building the Valley Jewish community, because Am Yisrael Chai. Chabad of the Valley has been fortunate to not only pioneer this very effort, to become a role model for so many others and have a far-reaching impact across the globe. We have had the unique opportunity to take part in the international growth of Chabad and its shluchim, reaching far beyond the majestic mountains that surround our valley. Numerous young rabbis and rebbitzins studied, like my dear friend Rabbi Chazdan, who is the rabbi of the great synagogue of Johannesburg. Many have gone through our halls and got started on shlichus here in the Es Fernando Valley. Life lessons, values under the guidance and mentorship of our rabbis and staff. The same can be said of many young men and women who now serve as Chabad emissaries in prominent places around the world, where they were once beneficiaries and participants of our educational facilities, of our Chabad houses, of our preschools, of our summer camps, Hebrew schools, teen programs, our shuls. But of course, this is only made possible by each and every one of you who sit here tonight. Our generous donors who understand the mission of Chabad of the Valley and the vital role it plays beyond our weekly gatherings in shul or social events. Every supporter has a unique contribution to make towards Jewish continuity and resiliency. It is your commitment that enables Chabad of the Valley to be what it is and continue to advance the Rebbe's vision disseminating the light of Torah and mitzvahs, and making this world a better and a much brighter place. Tonight, as we pay tribute to 70 years of the Rebbe's leadership, it is really quite humbling, at the same time inspiring and uplifting, as we come to the profound realization that what we are witnessing, what we see in our little valley, takes place exponentially all over the world. There has been an explosion of Judaism and growth in the furthest corners of the globe. From Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, the Rebbitzin is the daughter of a dear friend of mine, to the People's Republic of the Congo, reestablishing a proud Jewish presence in Germany, of all lands. From the horrors of the Holocaust to the rebirth of the former Soviet Union, to the rural outback down under in Australia. Need I say more? It's not just a cliche. Rather, it is truly a vision that changed the world and will continue to immediately bring Mashiach now. And indeed, our united efforts, as we have demonstrated here tonight, often reach way beyond the immediate environs to many, many far places. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screen.